somewhere in Nottingham, England, in the early aughts.
Sir, Mr. James' workshop?
Well, if it isn't Dan Abnett, my favorite little desk monkey.
What?
Writer. My favorite little writer.
Me and the other writers, we were wondering, you know the Horus Heresy?
You mean the undetailed collection of legends we use as a background lore for the entire Warhammer 40k setting?
Yes.
Of course, Dan. Everyone knows the Horus Heresy. What would epic science fantasy be without a bunch of vague references to an unwritten distant past? It's essential for building an obsessive fan base. Dune and Star Wars set the standard, and we don't really do originality around here.
Right, exactly. But that's what the guys and I were thinking about. What if we did write the Horus Heresy? Like how Star Wars just went back and did the prequels.
The trilogy, then?
Well, we think this project might be a little larger in scale than that, sir. We already have a dozen of named characters just from the trading card game and the art books. And all of those lore blurbs in our codexes over the years. I mean, there are 19 Primarchs alone for us to cover.
Then a trilogy of trilogies. We could do a standalone box set game for each one. Or maybe even a new war game altogether. With expensive resin models. And protractors. And rule supplements. So many rule supplements. Will 9 books be enough for your little series?
Sir, with all due respect, you are severely underestimating how many additional pages we will be generating from the pseudo-Latin sci-fi gibberish alone. And I know for a fact that Nick Kime plans on writing the phrase Vulcan lives enough times to fill at least 3 books. There's also the endless homo-romantic tension of it all.
Go on.
20 angsty, superpowered brothers whose dad is God, and their thousands of roided-out, muscle-up super sons duking it out in a battle that spans the galaxy? There are so many rivalries to explore. So many jealousies. The betrayal. The sacrifice. There are so many rabbit holes to get lost in. I think we can really make the greatest story of all time, sir.
Like the Bible!
Well?
Yes! Yes, I see it now! There's so much money to be made. Why stop at a trilogy of trilogies? We could have a trilogy of trilogies. No, double that. And a book for each named Primarch, and audio dramas, and an additional series of 14 books just for the Siege of Terra, and...
Sir, are you alright?
Yes. Yes, my son. It's all just so beautiful. Our fans. Books are so much cheaper than our models. We can upcharge them on paperback prices, and it'll still seem like nothing to them. They'll buy so many books. They'll have to make flowcharts just to navigate the timeline.
It's a big project. We'll need at least 6 writers to start. It could take the better part of the next 20 years, and of course...
Yes. We'll make the necessary blood sacrifices. You needn't worry. The gods will be appeased.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dan. You've served Chaos well this day. There's so much potential in this. This could be as many as 60 publications when all's said and done. Maybe more. A veritable labyrinth of lore. You'd have to be mad to read them all.
Yes, sir, but you know our fans, they're...
Indeed. They are the lost and the damned. Welcome, one and all, to the first episode of the Lost and the Damned podcast.
Woo!
Woo! Yay!
Woo.
Welcome to a podcast about books, but the best kind of books. Meaty books, war books, sci-fi books.
Grim dark books.
Grim dark, baby. And we are
Edgy.
here for it. Super edgy. My name is Uncle. What's your name?
Oh, hi. I am colloquially known as the Lost. My name is Faden Cross.
Yes, you are the Lost and I am the Damned, because this is a Horus Heresy podcast.
Yeah.
We are reading the Horus Heresy in its entirety is the plan.
That's the plan.
In publication order.
Yep.
So you Warhammer freaks out there, those of you who say you know the Horus Heresy, by the time we're done with this, we're going to know it, baby. We're going to know it better than you, because you only read the books that you like about your favorite faction from your favorite author. Maybe you just read the Blood Angels books or the Word Bearers books if you're a real super freak.
Or maybe the Flight of the
Eisenstein.
Eisenstein.
Yeah, it can't be right. You can't say you can't say Einstein, so you got to throw an extra syllable in there somewhere.
I always want to say Estinian for some reason.
It's not even close to that.
Nope.
It's the Eisenstein. It's actually arguably one of the most famous books in this series.
That's why I know it.
We'll be reading it, and we'll be reading them all, baby. So just you wait and see. So
yeah, so to describe kind of the general basis,
Yeah.
so think about like a video game club podcast.
imagine that.
Imagine that, but imagine
If there
instead
was
of-
one.
Right, if there was a monthly video game podcast where you played one game a month.
Yeah.
Imagine you did that with a book instead. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like a sort of I think a book like club sounds like a good.
It's a club with books.
a club with books.
Yeah, a
it's
club with books.
club
I
with
think
books.
that's the most efficient way to phrase
right.
it.
That's the most clear,
Yeah.
transparent, efficient way.
And what might be different about this podcast from other podcasts with games in them, like a podcast with games, as you might call it.
Right.
This will be a podcast with books where we only read from one series. And again, as the total freaks we are, we're actually going to read it in publication order, which if you don't know anything about Warhammer or the Horus Heresy, that's not how most people engage this series. That's how many books is this in length total?
We
We're
have
looking
a
at-
range because
Yeah, a range.
We got a range.
We'll
of
talk about that.
54 to 64, 66 books,
Yeah.
something like that.
Have you ever heard of that, listener? A series of 60 books plus in length. Does that exist? It exists here.
Yep.
It's the Warhammer Horus Heresy.
Some might argue the Bible is a series of books.
It is. It's a collection. It is a collection of 60 plus books. Oh shit.
Cool. After that mishap.
Yeah, we only experienced a little ghost in the machine there. Just a little Diet Coke in the cogitator, as they say.
How many tech priests do you think are like their main job is getting liquids out of the keys and the tubing?
It's got to be an entire separate subsect of the religion is
Right.
just fluid removal from machines. It's got to be. There's too much, as we hinted at in the opening, too much homoerotic tension for there not to be a fluid remover.
Right, but
A
they're not-
priesthood of fluid removers.
Well, not to be like a priesthood of piss valves.
Yeah, it could be. It could very well. I know in some old lore there are poop worshippers in Warhammer among the
Classic.
Astartes. Yeah, but that's old lore. We're not going into that. We're talking about recent lore, at least in the last 20 years. Because that's about how old this series is. It was the Horus Heresy was just recently completed. The end of the last section of the series, the Siege of Terra, was just completed.
I wonder what happens there.
There's a siege, and it happens on Terra, and we'll talk about more about that later. But it's done now. We can read the whole thing.
Finally,
maybe
this is what we were waiting for.
This is what we were waiting for. Maybe it'll be a book a month, but who knows? If we want to ramp it up, we can now because it's done.
No, it's gonna be a book a month. I don't.
This is a lot for us to do on top of all the other things we do.
We gotta do a book and a video game a month now.
And then another game because of the requirements of that game.
because
podcast.
of the requirements.
Yes.
Yes.
So 2 games a month and a book. But they're simple books, as I'm sure
You know
we're going
what?
to discuss.
That they are.
So before we get too much into the book itself, I do
Yes.
think we should talk about what our relative experience with as the Lost and the Damned, respectively, with Warhammer and with this series. You being the Lost Faden, would you like to start?
Yeah, so the first time I ever really heard about Warhammer,
Yeah.
I was at, it was kind of like a party in my frat house. And there was this weird uncle there saying, "Hey, you like the Yuuzhan Vong from Star Wars? Well, wait till you get a load of this."
Yeah.
And then starts telling me about Warhammer stuff.
Yeah, probably Tyranids then. Yeah.
Something. I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, something extra galactic outside of the galaxy or whatever, or something.
Yep, that would be the Tyranids.
Yep,
Which
yep.
there is a reference to the Tyranids in the Horus Heresy much later on, but we don't
Yeah, I
actually.
don't.
Don't worry, we don't have to deal any space bugs in this one.
Okay. Well,
At
that's
least, at least
wait,
that kind of space bug.
I guess.
There-
Yeah, arachnids are bugs.
And you know what? There's even some speculation in the fan community about what the megarachnid connection to the Tyranids might be. But
Spiders.
we'll get to that later. Yeah.
That was kind of my first exposure was you
Yeah,
telling me about Warhammer, and that's just kind of persisted throughout our friendship, and I'd get little bits of pieces here.
Yeah.
I know that we have the Emperor is a very hungry boy that needs to have 10,000 boys eaten every day.
I think 10,000 is what I told you at one point. I think the real number is 1,000. But
Okay.
yes, yeah.
I mean,
It's 1,000
still-
psychers specifically.
right,
Psychic.
a thousand espers.
Yep. You got to eat them up.
Gotta eat 'em up.
So you can keep doing the things you're doing. And for a long time, fans have been told that it's just, generating the Astronomicon, which is what we use to navigate space. But,
Oh, right, yep.
But maybe there's more to it, and you'll just have to find out. That's what's going to be so fun about this series, I think, for you, the Lost Faden, because you actually don't know any.
Yeah, no.
You don't know any Warhammer lore.
No, not really.
It was a spoiler for you to find out that Horus of the Horus Heresy falls to chaos
Yep.
and then goes to war with his dad.
Yep.
In the Horus Heresy,
I just see the dad
and
thing.
his name is Horus.
Right. Well, the dad thing I assumed
Yeah,
because
and you
know,
knew the Emperor was
But,
the God King of this empire.
So my prediction was that
Yeah.
actually Horus was not chaos, just this kind of normal dude. I kind of my thought was originally reversed
Yeah,
because
so-
that makes sense to me, but I guess it's not. It don't matter.
It's a little subversive, and that's where you went wrong.
Yeah.
Is there's
Yeah,
nothing
that's true.
there's nothing subtle about this series.
no.
Yeah,
I was thinking of some like sort of structural
like maybe we'll
dramatic irony.
subvert the audience's expectations in some way. No, this series is all about living up to the expectations of the audience. That's the whole point of this series.
That makes sense.
Yes. This
That
is
makes sense.
filling in blanks people have apparently been waiting decades to be filled, and for you to not know what those blanks are ahead of time is going to be so
it's
fun.
filling in blanks for me. It's just like a blank map. It's
Yeah.
just a map, and I'm starting to draw the continent.
Yes.
Some other exposure is last year for Game Club we played
Mechanicus. Yep.
and
that was probably the first game you played.
That was the
yep.
first. Well,
In
that
the
was the first 40K game I played.
Right, because I also made you try Total War, didn't I?
I actually got Total War Hammer 2 in a bundle, and I tried to play that a few times, tried to do the campaign. I just never stuck with me. The Total War series is just I like
the
'em.
steepest learning curve.
I just the way the learning curve is, I don't like it compared to other steep learning curves. It's no Crusader Kings 3 for me. It's no, I like steep learning curves. That's kind of the thing I'm kind of known for.
This
But
is
that
just-
one's just a different one.
No, this is an inverted cliff. This
Yes.
is this is it's you spend hours watching other people be good at the game, and then through that you will, through osmosis, pick up a few random tips until you can eventually play the game, and then
Right.
eventually you're a weirdo like me who plays on very hard mode exclusively.
And also
yeah.
here's the other aspect is I just my inverted cliffs are just different.
Sure.
I'm going down to hell, you're going to heaven.
Yeah.
Like there are inverted cliffs for video games, it feels like sometimes. I'm like, yeah, I love the inverted cliff of pathologic.
Yeah, let me suffer more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's less mechanical inversion and
Yeah.
more narrative inversion
Sure. Yeah.
in a weird way.
That's a good point. But yeah, so besides Mechanicus and
Yes.
a little bit of Rogue Trader.
And I've been playing Rogue Trader thanks
Yes.
to a wonderful gift from you.
Yes.
And I've been loving Rogue Trader a lot. And this is I think this is what kind of kicked it off, was me doing Rogue Trader and going like, hey, what if we read a Warhammer book?
Yeah.
First, I think the original pitch is, what if we read every single Warhammer book in publication order?
And when I pointed out the fact that was hundreds of volumes,
I was a little deterred.
yeah,
but
that would actually be insane.
that would, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to just do, just the rational thing.
Yeah.
Take anywhere
Real
from
simple.
4.5 to 5.25 years.
Yeah.
To read all of the Horus Heresy.
Yeah, which is like, less than half the time it took to write it. So I think that's pretty normal.
That's
Yeah.
pretty normal, insane.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thing to do. And then after that, TBD. But
Yeah, who knows?
I want to know your Warhammer story.
What's my Warhammer story?
More, I guess.
So-
I kind of
Yeah.
know the general vibes, but let's
I don't
chart
know that
it.
I ever gave you my Horus Heresy, like my origin story for Warhammer. So my first exposure to Warhammer was in a mall in Wisconsin. My family was visiting. When my family was in Wisconsin for some big track or cross country invitational thing
Right.
that my dad was, as a coach, taking his team to. My dad was a pretty big cross-country coach, had some really fast kids, and he would take them out of state every once in a while for big invitationals like this one, because we're from Michigan.
It's just
And-
kids who run really fast. I'm just constantly wondering, what are they running away from?
So much. They're from Kellogg'sville. So so these kids would go out to Wisconsin every year. We'd go as a little family vacation with
Yeah.
my dad. The family vacation was watching his athletes run
Right.
in the fall and
While your
nasty
dad
weather.
works.
And we would also spend, after the meet was done, we would go somewhere and we'd go to like the Mars Cheese Castle and buy some expensive cheese. And we'd also go to this big fancy mall. I don't remember where exactly. And in that mall, there is a Games Workshop. And while the family, would wander about the mall and do actual shopping, I would just stand in the Games Workshop and watch people play and look at the models and look at the
that's
boxes and look at the
amazing.
books as a little kid and think, wow, this shit's so cool. What is it? I don't get it. Way over my head. And then Warhammer kind of just left my brain for years because nobody I knew growing up played it. Nobody I knew had models. I didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know a single person growing up who was into this.
The one other exposure to Warhammer I had was that one of my uncles had like one of the first video games ever set in the Warhammer universe, a 90s game, Space Hulk.
I've heard of Space Hulk.
So I've looked at those. I had looked at that box and thought, wow, this is so cool. Knights in giant space armor with guns fighting aliens. Neat. And looking at that box art, that was some exposure I got. And
That's kind of your aesthetic too, is that kind of
Absolutely.
heavy metal style.
heavy
look.
metal, gothic, but also science, fantasy. Throw some
Catholic
demons in
coded.
there. Yeah, Catholic coded. Absolutely, that's me. And then the National Boy Scout Jamboree of 2010. I was there, and Games Workshop had a booth at the National
Oh, wow.
Jamboree, and they let kids paint models for free. And they let kids take home copies of White Dwarf magazine, which they were just giving out dozens of copies of White Dwarf their magazine.
Right.
And they were also hyping kids up, explaining them aspects of this ludicrous lore. And I spent a lot of time at that tent just hanging out, building little tiny models and reading White Dwarf magazine. They even did a giveaway where they gave away a tank for whichever kid could yell "Wah!" the loudest, which that's the orc battle phrase in Warhammer is WAAAGH with 3 exclamation marks is how it's officially spelled.
Oh my god.
Wah. But use it "Wah!" which it's just it's how like a Cockney British person would pronounce war.
Yeah.
Wah! And so anyway, the
Did you
dude,
win?
No, but the guy next to me who was in my troop who's also from Michigan, a guy I actually got to know pretty well, who was a Cub Scout camp counselor, he won. And that's what he said when he won. He's like, that's all the Cub Scout camp counseling. Because this kid stood up and he went, it was unreal. Shook the whole tent. Anyway, that exposure, reading through those magazines over and over and over and over again, I became obsessed. I started reading wiki articles.
As most Warhammer fans do.
As most Warhammer fans do is what I later learned. The wiki pages are extensive. You can go on forever, and boy, did I do so. It's a real ADHD, autism, hyperfixation for me for like 6 years.
Yeah.
Was just reading endlessly. And then I discovered the books, the audiobooks. There was a time on YouTube when you could find almost all of the Horus Heresy audiobooks for free, illegally uploaded. And so, boy, did I listen to all of them.
Hell yeah.
I say all of them, all the ones that were uploaded.
Right.
So I went back recently and looked at the list of all the books in this series, and I realized I've read roughly a third of these books.
Nice.
At least once.
Nice. Some multiple times, it sounds like?
Some many times. Some like 5 or 6 times because I love them so.
What are some 5 and 6ers?
The first Heretic, because I love Aaron Dembski-Bowden.
Okay.
One of the writers I really, really appreciate the most from the series. And then also A Thousand Suns by Graham McNeil. I've read that one a bunch of times. Betrayer, I'm pretty sure that's another Aaron Dembski-Bowden book. I've read those books several times. I've read The Master of Mankind twice. That's another Aaron Dembski-Bowden. I have a favorite author.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And a couple of the others I've read 2 or 3 times. Although I will say most of my time spent reading this series was audiobooks.
Right.
And that is a significantly different experience from reading with your eyeballs.
Yes.
You're going to miss things. Even if you've listened multiple times, even if you're a professional listener.
Yep.
So I even this one, Horus Rising. I probably read this 2 or 3 times before this reading, and there were definitely things I had missed the first time. But so that's my exposure. I know a lot about the Horus Heresy.
Yep.
I've read so much that even though I've only read a third of the books, I know basically the whole plot.
Well, you also know a lot of Warhammer.
I know a lot of Warhammer. I even have a really good friend of mine who works at my place of work who knows even more Warhammer than me. And this dude is constantly schooling me. Like anytime he catches me in the hallway, he's telling me some new piece of lore I somehow never caught. So I have a lot of exposure, and that is why I, the damned soul-cursed monster I am going to be dragging you, the Lost, through this series.
And
we're going to try and do it without spoilers if we can, because I think it'll be pretty special to see what actually surprises
what
you.
surprises me.
Compared to what every other Warhammer fan already knew.
Yeah, I'm going in pretty blind.
Completely
I just know
blind.
kind of, I guess you've heard what I know.
Yeah.
Just the barest of outlines.
Yeah.
Things go bad.
There's a heresy. And
a
Horus
siege
is
of
involved.
Earth happened. I'm sorry, not Earth.
Well, in the early
Terra.
books, they do say Earth more than they say Terra, but it's Terra.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's Terra.
They said Terra a lot in this book.
Yeah. Should we read the Horus Heresy introductory blurb that you get at the very beginning of the book?
Yeah. Yeah, you're a good reader. This is
Sure. You want me to? Yeah. Okay, here we go. The Horus Heresy. It is a time of legend. Mighty heroes battle for the right to rule the galaxy. The vast armies of the Emperor of Earth have conquered the galaxy in a great crusade. The myriad alien races have been smashed by the Emperor's elite warriors and wiped from the face of history. The dawn of a new age of supremacy for humanity beckons. Gleaming citadels of marble and gold celebrate the many victories of the Emperor. Triumphs are raised on 1,000,000 worlds to record the epic deeds of his most powerful and deadly warriors. First and foremost amongst these are the Primarchs, superheroic beings who have led the Emperor's armies of Space Marines in victory after victory. They are unstoppable and magnificent, the pinnacle of the Emperor's genetic experimentation. The Space Marines are the mightiest human warriors the galaxy has ever known, each capable of besting 100 normal men or more in combat. Organized into vast armies of tens of thousands called legions, the Space Marines and their Primarch leaders conquer the galaxy in the name of the Emperor. Chief amongst the Primarchs is Horus, called the Glorious, the brightest star, the favorite of the Emperor, and like a son unto him. He is the War Master, the commander-in-chief of the Emperor's military might, subjugator of 1,000 worlds, and conqueror of the galaxy. He is a warrior without peer, a diplomat supreme. Horus is a star ascendant. But how much further can a star rise before it falls?
Also, he's so hot.
And
he's
hot.
so attractive.
Yeah, you can't
he's
even
so
look
beautiful.
at him. Can't even look at him without going cross-eyed. And I'll tell you what, not only is he hot, but his sons, the ones who look like him,
so hot.
destined for stardom,
Beautiful.
baby. Every one of them.
Perfectly manicured genetics.
Manicured genetics.
So yeah, that was the introduction that we get in Horus Rising. Subtitle: The Seeds of Heresy Are Sown by Dan Abbott.
Seeds are sown, baby.
I had an argument. With my coworker about this. I was saying, "Oh yeah, it's called Horus Rising. The Seeds of Heresy Are Sown," and he was saying like that. The Seeds of Heresy are sown isn't a part of the title. I was like, well, it's the subtitle. And he's like,
Horus
well, that's not...
Rising.
Yeah.
Seeds sown. This is all one piece together, baby.
Yeah.
His member is rising, and it is sowing your seeds.
It's sowing so many seeds.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I read a Warhammer book. I have a copy in my hand. It is a nice mass market paperback.
Nice.
Very airport.
Yeah, lovely computer-generated artwork for these early books.
Yeah,
isn't it great?
It's
so gray.
It's so gray. So what I'm looking at is Space Marines in the grayest of armor to exist.
Can you even tell if any of those are named characters?
I mean,
no, you can't.
No. But I have to assume they are.
Do you? Because I don't think they are. I've looked at this picture for years. Readers, listeners, look up Horus Rising, the cover of this book. And then as you listen to us describe these characters in this story, tell us if this is any of those characters.
So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess does Loken have long hair?
Loken has like cropped blonde hair.
He has
like military cut blonde hair, bright blonde hair.
So is this the Lucius?
No, because if this was Lucius, he'd be in purple. These are sons of Horus.
Oh my god.
These are just random sons. It's literally just a picture of random sons of Horus. They're not even fighting megarachnids. Like, what are they fighting? What is this battle?
It's in the High City.
It must be from the very beginning.
Okay,
yeah. There
it's
you
in
go.
the High City. So yeah,
But still.
Anyways, this is the most unremarkable cover. Here, let me read the back of it.
Yeah.
The Horus Heresy, Horus Rising. It is the 31st millennium. Under the benevolent leadership of the immortal...
Benevolent. That's a good description.
That's such a good description.
Continue.
Under the benevolent leadership of the immortal emperor, the Imperium of Man has stretched out across the galaxy. It is a golden age of discovery and conquest. But now, on the eve of victory, the Emperor leaves the front lines, entrusting the Great Crusade to his favorite son, Horus. Promoted to War Master, can the idealistic Horus carry out the Emperor's grand plan? Or will this promotion sow the seeds of heresy amongst his brothers? I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
Horus Rising is the first chapter in the epic tale of the Horus Heresy, a galactic civil war that threatened to bring about the extinction of humanity. Here's a blurb. Dan Abbott is the master of war! ! That's from Sound Effects?
Sure. Yeah, sound effects.
It literally says SFX.
Yeah, you know them.
Just sound effects.
Yeah.
Sound effects just in general as a concept, giving a blurb to this book. I'm sure that must mean something to someone, but not to me.
Yeah.
We need to... I love mass market paperback books so much.
Yeah, tell me about how you like this mass market paperback book.
Oh, like the book in general?
Yeah.
Not just like the feel of it and the pages and stuff. So one of the things I first appreciate is it does the thing that theaters do. It has a dramatis personae.
Yeah,
persona.
Which I think is the first thing this book does to set the tone.
Yep.
Is that we are going to pretend this is Shakespeare. It's like that is how this book feels. That's how this series feels, broadly speaking. We are going to pretend this is high literature.
Also, well, because you know what's going on right now. It's a favorite subject that we like to hit on Club Flashpoint again and again. The Iraq War is happening.
Yes, the 2006 is when this book was published.
Yeah, this book was published in 2006. The War on Terror is going on.
You get some themes there. You get a few themes of terrorism,
Yeah.
a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. It's
Yeah.
not fully developed in the way,
Insurgency.
right? There's insurgencies.
Yeah.
There's acts of terrorism, weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, and the good guys are the ones who are doing pretty much all the destruction.
Yes, kind of.
Yeah,
we can
well,
get to the Interrex.
So good guys, air
Right.
quotes. The protagonists
Right,
of
the
this story,
protagonists.
how about that?
Yeah.
Are the genocidal empire.
Right.
Which, if you've ever listened to a Club Flashpoint podcast, you know that we are not big fans of empire.
I don't like genocide nor
we're
empire.
I'm not really a fan of genocide.
I feel like I don't have to reiterate this point, but apparently you do.
Yeah.
Apparently.
And these are just okay things in this storyline. Like, which is, I don't think that's what the authors are trying to tell us. I think
no. It's supposed to be fucked up.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fucked up.
It's also supposed to be cool.
But that's how this story begins, with the absolute extermination and subjugation of an entire solar system and the answer is they don't agree with us.
Yeah, they're humans that don't agree with us.
Not even good reasons.
Yeah.
It's not even ever made really specifically clear.
Well, they have a different emperor.
Yeah, they just don't want to be ruled by us.
Well, that and they're pretending they're Earth.
Yeah, that's true. They're wrong about being Earth.
Right. They have the same amount of so it's really
let's
funny.
talk about the opening. How does this book open?
Sorry. Let's finish overall thoughts. Overall thoughts?
Sure.
And then we can go into it. We're just ready to jump into it.
Yeah,
we're a little excited. But overall thoughts. I got a high level. I overall had a very fun time with this book. If I find it the most dryly written thing I've read in a minute.
Yeah.
It has no personality whatsoever.
Yeah.
Its personality is Warhammer, which is not enough of a personality, I don't think. But overall, some characters are fun. I'm interested to see where it goes next. It is giving me the space pulpiness that it's just kind of fun to read sometimes. It's nice reading one of these in a way. I haven't read like a tie-in, or like an IP giant franchise novel in a while.
This is like the quintessential teeing up the rest of a series book. Like everything in this book is teeing up something else.
Yeah.
We are just barely introducing every single character. We are getting just enough flavor to know what they're like right now.
Uh-huh.
So that, 60 books from now, we might see some of them develop.
And like, I'm sure there's characters in here that really matter, but they I feel like some characters just make these brief appearances that I'm going to have to deal with forever, but it's hard to tell because of how long this is.
I'll tell you, the number of times I read this book, every time I've read each of these books in this series, I've thought, that guy's really not that important. And then, I end up eventually actually reading the book where he does become important later on.
Well, it's just like Mercedes is the biggest prime example of this question for me.
So the iterators.
Yes.
The
remembrancers.
Yes, which are separate from iterators. Iterators are the propagandists,
right?
Specifically, who are trying to convince the people you just conquered that it's good they were just conquered.
Right. Remembrancers is the propaganda for the
rest of the Imperium.
Right.
Like,
the already conquered.
Look at all these places we liberated.
Right.
That's what remembrancers do.
How about you? How would you find reading this again? When was the first time you read this?
So the first time I read this was probably 10 years ago.
Probably
more than 10 years ago, actually. Probably like 2014, 2013 was the first time I read this book.
Time keeps moving, huh?
I think the first time I read this book, it kind of glanced off my head for the most part.
Yeah.
Because there are so many names dropped here. And when I was first encountering this series, I was just getting to know Warhammer in general.
Yeah.
So everything I was learning was endless lists of names who had no context for me.
Oh, yeah.
So
similar to me, probably.
Yeah,
in this
similar
sort of
to what you are now. Yeah, except I was actively spoiling everything for myself because
True, you're just looking them up.
Who is this person? Why does he matter? Yep. I could not wait to find out. Why do I need to know this guy's name? Why so many names? And so I kept looking people up just to keep people straight. Sometimes I would look up characters and then end up inadvertently spoiling
God forbid
things.
you confuse them for gay.
Oh my! the first time I read this book, I don't really think I had an impression of this book. I was so wrapped up in all the names and all the events and all the references that I wasn't understanding. And now reading it, I think I absolutely agree. This is like the most default standard writing style.
Yeah.
Like this is what, if you could trust AI to write something just normal and completely gray and banal instead of just batshit insane.
I mean, well,
or
here's
broken and wrong in every way. This would be that.
Well, we have a better analogy. This is just a workman's novel.
Yes.
This is just a competent. You're getting it out. A publisher needs someone to get a book out. You hire one of these writers who are good at putting books out because it's hard to finish books. Yeah. This author can finish books.
And Dan Abnett's very much a concepts guy.
Yeah.
He's like a big picture guy. And you'll see that throughout this series. When his books show up, it's like structural shit.
Okay.
And he also, as I remember, writes the last few books.
Okay.
So he begins and ends this series.
All right.
As I recall from what I've learned about the writing of this series, he was like one of the structural guys.
So like kind of really big picture. I'm plotting the macro plot.
This book tastes like big picture.
Yeah,
exclusively.
it's all big.
There's no microscopic detail anywhere.
But there is when it comes to the bros hanging out.
A little bit here and there, but even then, I think
you're right.
I think it's still pretty broad strokes.
It really deals with the big there's a lot of weird things about this book. It deals with the big like politics of it all, but it also has these
touches on them. Yeah,
it has these weird diversions.
Yes.
Into very micro and personal stuff. I think about the poet wandering the city.
Yeah, and it also jumps around in time a lot too.
Yes.
Like it'll be like just for no good reason. Will suddenly be a couple days ago.
Yep.
And then and I think it's because the author found that if he wrote if every event in the book is presented sequentially, which might be how he wrote it. It's a lot of like Astartes, remembers. There's not as much chop.
Yeah.
Which I think you by jumping around the timeline, you allow a little bit more interspersed remembrancer moments.
It's still like usually before you're jumping around time, it's like a short little paragraph. It's like, yes, let me tell you what happened a couple days ago. And then goes into the long pages of what happened days ago as if it was just written. And so it's kind of weird.
It's weird.
This is a book where a thing happens and a thing happens and a thing happens and a thing happens and now it's done.
Again, very much this book is setting up a series.
Yep.
Like no other book has ever had to set up a series before as well. Because I don't know that a book has ever been written before knowing full well that it was probably going to be dozens of subsequent books written by other authors.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know that exists.
It's the other author
else.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, is like this guy had to write something so open-ended that also
it's a blueprint.
Left so much to be written.
Yeah.
But also hinted at things that the audience already knew were gonna happen because of the nature of this storytelling. Where like this universe, the major beats of this plot have been told for decades and then rewritten for decades as background knowledge for a different setting.
Yep.
And now these guys have to thread these random plot points in a way that somehow makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy's trying to set up all of that with this. And that's how this book reads. It's plain, it's simple, but
it's a foundation.
It's a foundation, and it is so easy to read.
But it's not Foundation, which is a better book.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's like comparing like Coughing Baby to a nuclear bomb. Like, like who would win?
So are we ready to talk about the plot?
Yeah, let's talk about the plot.
This book?
What happens in this book?
This book opens, and I will say I like this narrative move. I think it's a nice. I think there's a lot of like totally unsubtle irony in this book. Like that is this series is unsubtle irony, unsubtle hypocrisy, and this book starts with that. It's I remember when we killed the emperor, when Horus killed the emperor.
When Horus killed the emperor.
Which, may or may not be what this series is building towards. And it begins with Horus killing a false emperor, which is also an ironic joke in this series, as you'll later learn, Faden.
I assume. I assume this is a metaphor for the end.
He's killing the false emperor. Loken, actually.
Yeah, we get our protagonist of the book. Loken, what's his?
Garviel.
Loken. Garviel.
Yeah, it's like, think like angel names. Garviel.
Okay.
Garviel Yeah.
Garviel Loken.
Yep. He
A
is
captain of the 10th Company.
the 10th company. Yep. Of the space of the Luna Wolves.
Not the Space Wolves.
Not the Space Wolves, as I had to teach you the difference. Because there is a scene later where they reference the Luna Wolves and the Space Wolves.
Yep.
They're different factions. Space Wolves are space Vikings. Luna Wolves are space gangsters, actually. Vaguely Roman-themed space gangsters. Because the Chthonians, anytime you hear their home planet, Chthоnia, referenced, it's a gangster planet.
It's Sicily.
Kinda.
It's fucking right. It's like Sicilian.
It's
especially
cyberpunk Sicily.
So Loken,
Yes.
Loken is no Horus is the Tony Soprano of the
if you want to go with it,
Luna Wolves.
Kinda, yeah, because everything is falling apart under his reign. Yes,
right.
So yeah, there
you
you
know
go.
What?
There you. That's your new
I'm
angle.
so glad I watched The Sopranos.
Just imagine Horus as Tony Soprano. You got it.
Okay, so the Mournival.
He comes across as charismatic, but only because he's surrounded by uncharismatic fools.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so who does it make Loken? Is Loken the Sill?
No, that makes Loken the youngest guy.
Chris Moltisanti?
Chris, yeah. I think Loken's Chris.
I think Axamine is Chris, actually.
Horus Axamine?
Yeah.
So Little Horus is
not Little Horus. Oh, what's the aggro one?
That's Abaddon.
Abaddon's Chrissy.
Abaddon is Syl. The number or is because it's your number one right hand guy who's your go to killer.
But Sill's the calm one. See, I'm going based off personality.
Abaddon, you'll see Abaddon develop quite a bit. He is so
So maybe you're also working with more knowledge than I have too.
What do you know about Abaddon? This will be a fun thing for our listeners to hear. What do you know about Abaddon?
Well, I know that there might be. Now, I don't know if this is true, or if it's because it could be a different Abaddon, but I know you could get an Abaddon Commander deck in Magic the Gathering.
You can. And what is the setting of Magic the Gathering's Warhammer 40k stuff?
Yeah,
what is the timeline? Is it 30k or is it 40k?
Yeah,
it's 40k.
So
Abaddon's still around.
Something happens to him,
and he's important enough to be the commander of a commander deck that only had 4 commanders. Right?
That's true. That's so true. I didn't think about that too hard until just now. But here's my other thing. I was like, well, it's Warhammer. It could just be a different Abaddon.
You're not wrong, because there are multiple Horuses already, and we're in book 1.
Yeah, there's 2 Horuses.
Yes, and
Also, Little Horus is a gangster name.
It is. Yeah, no, totally. I think you're on the money with this Chthоnia being Space Sicily, Space Cyberpunk Sicily.
And they're all heated. Yeah. They're all heated. They have
all
the
fucking
time. Oh my god, this is
no
wonder. So my coworker is an Italian from Jersey.
Okay.
So no wonder he loves this.
Bingo, bango, baby. So yeah, we get this opening sequence where they're bringing a world into compliance. They are
killing people,
murdering people. They put it as, and I love the phrasing, compliance.
I love
bringing
compliance.
A world into compliance as opposed to committing mass genocide and murdering people.
As opposed to
conquering and colonizing.
Right,
which is what they're really doing.
They're bringing them in compliance with the ordained God of man. Well,
a quick note on the compliance. I love that the plan is to bring compliance to this planet is to replace their capital city with a singular monument to compliance.
Yep.
They're going to replace their entire massive capital hive city, which is like a place where tens of millions of people would live.
Yep.
They're going to replace it with a monument to compliance.
Yep.
To being enslaved. And that's the genius behind these new remembrancers.
Yeah, they're so the iterator, right?
Because the iterator is defending this choice, but it's a remembrancer who's in charge of the architecture.
Right.
Peter. Yes.
Something.
Peter something.
Peter Egon Momus, which the names in this fucking book
they're so good.
Is a lot.
Yeah, Peter Egon Momens.
But yeah, they're attacking this place called what? High City?
The High City.
The High City.
Yeah.
So the action in this book is pretty boring. It's the most boring parts of the book. I just don't care for it, except I did like some of the mega-arachnid stuff. But for the most part, when they're just like, all right, and we're going down, and we're blasting, and then the auto turret came, and I did this sick maneuver where I got behind it and disengaged the auto turret, and it was really sick, and I was like smashing people against the wall.
Yep.
Also, the gore in this is like, it's gory, but it's not. It doesn't describe anything in detail. It just describes.
And then his hand
broad
got
gestures.
shot off.
Right, then his hand got shot off. Then his hand got shot off,
Yeah.
and it was like barely attached, and so he decided to cut it off and remove the rest. But it's like
We don't talk about the sinews. We don't talk about the
Right.
tendons.
there's
We're not.
nothing horror where it's
How did
like,
it
I'm
feel? He
reading-
didn't feel nothing.
Right, I've been reading Stephen King. There's nothing comparable to that. Like Stephen King can write someone eating grosser than these people can write. Like
Yeah, there
Gore.
really. There's very little that is intimate about Dan Abnett's writing.
yeah, there's no intimacy whatsoever.
No,
And
And
unless we're talking about the boys.
there's the homo-romantic tension. There's the tension, but there's never the sex. There's never the intimate
Yeah.
physical grossness of anything.
Except for the part where they're talking about how their bodies are glistening with like sweat and body armor oil.
Yeah,
Which
so good.
okay.
Or when they're talking about where to look when you're looking at the Emperor, because I mean not the Emperor, Horus, because
yep.
Horus is so. I'm gonna try and find the quote real quick. He's so hard to look at because
He's just so pretty.
He's just so
Oh my God.
overwhelmingly pretty.
So right away when we're introduced to Horus, it's a very Lucifer metaphor.
Oh sure, yeah, he's the
A
prettiest.
lot of Paradise Lost happening in this book. A lot of
Here it is. Here's the advice that this is what Garvia Loken's the advice that he is given when he's about to be addressed by Horus. It's look at his feet, the War Master's feet. Catch his eye, and you'll quite forget what you were going to say.
God damn it.
I love that.
Look at his grippers.
Yeah, look at those feet.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck. Logan, like, I can't look at his feet either. What do
Oh,
I
no,
do?
yeah.
Cinderman, what do I do?
They're too well manicured.
Damn.
Yeah,
Did he paint his tootsies?
Oh my god. Okay, we've taken it too far now, but you get the idea.
Whoa, so
that is
what would Horus paint his toenails?
Horus. Probably white. Luna
So true.
Wolves, perfect shiny white.
And when the moonlight hits it, they kind of reflect it
French
back.
tips,
Yep.
exactly. So you get the
Jesus
crescent. Yeah,
Christ.
and that's what he'd get,
What a
and he would look fabulous doing it.
maybe.
We do get after this compliance, we do get one brief scene with another Primarch. We get two other Primarchs in this
Yes.
book. We get Rogel Dorn, and then later we'll get Sanguinius. Sanguinius.
Sanguinius.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Rogel Dorn is the Imperial Fists.
Right.
And his son Sigismund comes up to Horus and says, "Who do you think would win in a fight? Us or you?"
Yeah.
Like that's he literally
Whose dad do you think is stronger?
Yeah.
My dad could kick your dad's
My
ass.
dad can beat up your dad. No, my dad can beat up your dad. My dad's the war master. Well, my dad got called back to Terra to build a big castle. So
Yeah.
whose dad's the bigger dad?
Who's protecting the emperor? Not your dad.
Yeah, not your dad.
So while we're on that vein,
Sure.
the Space Marine are children.
Yes. How much do you know about how the Primarchs were made? How much do you know about how the Space Marines are made?
All I know about the Space Marines being made
Yes.
is eugenics.
Yes.
Lots of eugenics.
Kind of. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't want to fuck or can't fuck or both.
Yeah. They're not. Space Marines don't reproduce.
Right.
Traditionally.
But they don't have the sex drive.
Nope. They don't have any sex drive.
Which weird. That's not the scenes I'm reading where they're like dueling with swords. Don't seem like that. But
Well,
anyway,
Does that not read like strong hormonal men who have had their penises removed and have no other outlet for their what
Right.
would otherwise be sexual?
right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
how you need to think
exactly.
about it. Is
But
guys who have no other outlet for those feelings,
yeah,
they're just gonna put it into war.
they gotta get it out
into
somewhere.
fights.
Or into forming frats with your brothers and being real intimate with them on a
Yes.
personal basis.
Because fights ain't enough sometimes.
Right, you gotta clasp those shoulders
Yeah.
and give those hugs and ruffle those hairs or pinch those cheeks.
Yes.
It's wild.
It is
Nobody
wild.
ever
No.
talks about Horus
Yeah.
pinching little cheekies.
Nobody ever talks about how gay Warhammer is,
Yeah.
and I think that's something that's going to be a theme in this podcast, guys.
Yeah.
is like this is actually we're not reading into this.
We're in the
I really
homo-
don't think we're reading that much into this.
Or this is what happens, right?
Yeah.
When you're put in completely homosocial situations.
Yeah.
When you're writing about homosocial situations,
Yep.
the outlets for romance end up there because you're only writing these stories between two people of the same gender. And when you have to show different levels of intimacy, it's to those same people. And so you can't not have the reading of them doing like having some sort of romance and sexuality to them because they are in the environment. We see this happen in these environments, and they're writing from the war perspective, especially in an army.
Yep.
That's all one gender and is very homosocial. They got to get the outlets somewhere.
An army that's themed on the Roman army, and there's also a lot of Greek influence, and a
lot of robes.
Yeah, this is some of the gayest shit ever, guys.
Body gloves.
But yeah, they have
fucking
this.
Loken's wearing a cat suit under the fucking.
They have this total unsubtle, square up. My dad's better than your dad. And by the way, to explain it, Space Marines are built. They're made.
Yeah.
So you are born.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to explain that.
Yes.
But yeah, so Primarchs were made by the Emperor. You'll get more information on that in later books, so I'm not going to leave it any more explained than
I
that.
assume, like...
The Emperor's a genius, and he made the Primarchs.
I mean, look, we watched that one YouTube video where he debated that priest. We know he's a genius.
Yeah, an unofficial, prequel to the Horus Heresy is The Last Church, which is wild. That's Graham McNeil at his most Graham McNeely, and that's the next author we're going to read, so See,
my thing is about that, just to do another brief tangent, because this is Warhammer, and we kind of just go off in directions.
Yeah.
I don't think it's intentional. I think the Emperor is supposed to be cool.
Yeah, no.
But thinking about the Emperor as a loser, new wave atheist debate me guy is so funny.
And it perfectly explains so many problems with what eventually is revealed as the Warhammer's plans. He's just a douchebag debate bro. Yeah. He's just I think that was one of the big topics I wanted to hit on today is, what are your impressions of the Emperor so far? I think he is kind of supposed to be depicted as this guy who is at least kind of right. He's supposed to be depicted as kind of right. Otherwise, none of this story makes any fucking sense.
But also, he says the most insane things to be right.
Yes.
It is truly he's about to do Richard Dawkins shit.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It's really bad.
I think people think he's cool, huh? The way that thing was animated and stuff, even though it was animated really funny and they look like they had to use the bathroom 90% of the time. I can't get over that video.
The original story is better when it's not just the dialogue. When it's the whole written story. Because what we watched was just the dialogue, and just the dialogue is really bad.
It's really funny.
It's better without the dialogue, without just that. But anyway,
I truly just thought it was intentional.
Yeah, but
so my general thing about the Emperor is I love a guy who's
so obviously wrong,
so stupid. It's so stupid, but thinks they're very, very smart.
So this is a fun thing I like to talk about sometimes with my students as a teacher is what does intelligence mean? What do we mean when we use the word smart? Because a lot of people use that word. We all use that word a lot.
I say you're smart.
And it means very different things in very different contexts because the Emperor is the perfect example of that guy who has the highest IQ of anybody who's ever been tested. He gets a perfect score on every test he's ever taken. He's instantly good at everything he's ever tried, and he has never once in his life had a successful relationship.
Right.
That is the Emperor.
Or his range of life experience is puny, minuscule, and just completely sheltered and isolated.
Wait until you get to the end of the series and you hear what his foundational reasons are for the Great Crusade, and you'll be so how... I don't want to give it away, but I will just say, how does a person live 10,000 years and not learn anything? Anything?
I mean, how do people live 20 years or 5 or 10 and not learn anything?
And before we get we barely even touched on the plot. Here's my final point, and then I think this is what I want to be my final point throughout this series.
Yeah.
The problem is education. Yeah. The problem is, if the Emperor was a better teacher, none of this would be a problem.
It's a pedagogical.
Yep.
Pedagogical?
Pedagogical.
Pedagogical.
It's
a
pedagogical problem. Yeah. Absolutely. Because in this story that's kicking off, why is Horus meeting Rogel Dorn? Why is this the starting point of the story? The Horus has just become the War Master.
Okay.
He is now in charge of the whole Imperium.
Right.
Technically, militarily.
Right, outside of the realm of Earth and
outside
space.
of just Terra. And the government that is now forming on Terra, which is going to rule the whole galaxy. That was always the plan, was that there would be a civilian government on Terra ruling the galaxy, administering the galaxy. Horus is
fucking bureaucrats.
Exactly.
Bureaucrats and
They're
their damn
bureaucrats.
red tapes.
Yeah,
stopping the soldiers.
They don't know what it takes to conquer the galaxy. They don't know what it takes to keep the galaxy conquered.
So it's like so interesting with the general plot things of this happening is like, oh yeah, here are the bad things that are happening. But the way this book takes as a position, it does sometimes take the libertarian big government bad.
Absolutely.
Like
I think
all these weird.
there are so many moments in these books you're going to see where you're like, oh, they get it. They know fascism's wrong. They get it. That fascism's bad.
Nope.
No, they're libertarians.
You're
going to hear over and over and over again. You're going to see that. Nope. They almost had it. They got the anarchy, and then they just never did anything with it. It just stayed anarchy.
Yeah.
Yep. That's Warhammer, and that's most people too.
That's most
right?
people.
That's
most people in the specific context of which we are reading books, which is the English-speaking world.
Yeah, and also just this is people when faced with the biggest questions.
Yeah,
we go back to the simplest answers, which is just like, well, the people I agree with are probably the ones I'm going to defend, and I'll just kill everybody else.
Right.
That's unfortunately, I think that's throughout human history. That's how most of us behave, and that is definitely the perspective on humanity these books show. If there's anything I do appreciate Warhammer for, it's that there is just nothing but pessimism for human nature. There's almost no hope that human beings will do the right thing.
And the ones that do get severely punished, and
Always.
they're what's the path to hell is paved with good intentions is the fate rested for them.
Yeah,
they are just being on a never-ending train of getting fucked.
Absolutely.
Giant plot details. Should we just give the broadest, highest level
strokes? Yeah.
Summary?
So the Emperor says there's no demons, but then what do we learn after we conquer this planet where they worship gods?
Oh, there's demons.
There's demons.
Also, no, these demons are not heretical. These count. Don't worry about it. Just kind of ignore it from now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there's demons, but they're not real demons.
Yeah,
they're not real demons.
So the plot follows Loken going through a process of becoming important to the War Master, becoming part of the inner circle after achieving great victory.
Joining the Cosa Nostra in the Mournival ritual, where it basically the scene where you join the Mafia.
Yep.
In any given Mafia movie, that's the Mournival scene. Yeah. Yep. So I'm liking this analogy now.
It's truly, it's... It's truly funny how this is just mafia coded.
Yep.
The more we get into it.
Yep.
But yeah, joins this group called the Mournival, which is Horus's right-hand people he listens to, people he uses politically.
His political
to get
puppets
his way.
more than anything.
Yep.
Yep.
And throughout this, they advise and guide him through a series of setbacks and failures that eventually lead to an extermination of another, well, not an extermination, but the start of a campaign to exterminate another group of humans.
Yep.
And that's kind of that's the broadest, highest level books. We see Horus, the main Horus Heresy guy, I assume, since his name's Horus. We see him just kind of struggle with the concept of making mistakes because he has to achieve perfection because he has a bad dad.
Exactly.
He's going through father
the perfect
issues.
Golden father who expects him to be the perfect golden son, and he has to now somehow administer a massive campaign that literally spans a galaxy that contains fleets that have hundreds of thousands of ships, each of which have potentially millions of individuals on them, and he's in charge of all of it. All of it.
Another prestige reference, Horus kind of gives a little bit of Kendall Roy from Succession. Yeah, really trying to live up to the
destined son who doesn't have a chance.
Well, the destined son who doesn't have a chance because look at his dad.
Yeah.
Look at this fucking guy.
I am the eldest boy!
No, he's screaming, I am the eldest boy, while the other Primarchs are looking around the table.
Absolutely. And when we meet the other Primarchs, you're going to see that Horus has quite a few eldest boy moments where but I'm the favorite.
I'm the golden child.
Yeah.
Or the one that set up the fail the most.
So,
we'll see.
So yeah, one of the Space Marines, these incorruptible, perfect beings, as the population of the Imperium is told, these perfect soldiers who cannot die except through violent means.
The model of the Imperium spirit.
Yes, and the Imperium spirit is ain't no gods.
Ain't no gods.
We'll find out later why that's so important.
Well, it's because the Emperor's a new wave atheist. We know why this is important.
And
he
has a reason for being a new wave atheist, is the point I'm trying to make.
Right. It's probably because he doesn't like trans women playing in sports.
That's
probably
it. You figured it out. That's the whole story. You gave it away.
God, if this was like a screed against anti-trans like propaganda, that would make Warhammer rule even harder.
So the Emperor says no demons, but we literally before our eyes watch one of these incorruptible Space Marines, Jubal, a jealous Space Marine,
so jealous,
passed up for promotion by Loken, becomes a demon.
Loken promotes his bro.
Yep, he kills his whole squad. And then when Loken finds him, he tries to kill Loken. He tries to kill some remembrancers. He mutates horribly. Loken successfully kills him. And then he comes back.
Right. Samus Aran from Metroid Prime.
Samus is the name of the demon that possesses Jubal. Yes.
Yeah, Samus, she takes over and she's like, I got to bounty hunt some pirates.
But Samus, thematically for the series, Samus, we're told, is another name for Satan. So this first, the archdemon,
the arch enemy, one might say.
The arch enemy. Specifically, they say Samus is the man beside you. So this is a story of paranoia. It's a story of betrayal, of civil war.
Of
the demons
secrets.
the demons are the people next to you. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and it's also a story about keeping secrets.
Absolutely.
And
Loken doesn't like secrets.
He's a good, honest boy. He's so gay.
Yeah, I guess you guys are, because later when he gets inducted into the lodge, which is like the real frat bro secret society that the Emperor apparently doesn't approve of.
He doesn't like secret orders.
But I guess Horus approves of. And so I got invited to join, not because they think I'd be a good member, but because they found out I found out about them.
Yep.
And I better get him to join because he doesn't like us.
Yeah, Jubal was a secret member, so Loken's like, I got to find out about this because it's probably where it stemmed.
Yeah, maybe that's where he got the demons.
Honestly,
the demon blood.
Truly, the situation we see when he joins the lodge, it is the darkest of darkest concepts. It is a fraternity.
It is literally just a frat. They're sitting around a bonfire, drinking, and talking about how they feel about what's going on.
And talking about conquests.
Conquests, yes.
They're war stories.
Yes, and there's much like a frat, there's officially no hierarchy.
Oh,
yeah. You could be a senior hanging out with a freshman. It's like we're all just buddies. No, there's absolutely hierarchy.
Yeah. As if like having two members, now 3 members of the Mournival in your secret fraternity.
All of the Mournival are in the secret fraternity.
Oh, I didn't know all of them were.
Torgadon.
Oh, I didn't know
and
Torgadon.
Horus. Yeah, because Torgadon is the one who walks.
No, I knew Torgadon was, but I didn't know Abaddon was.
Abaddon. Oh, yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're all in.
I didn't remember that.
Yep. So they're all there. Yeah.
So they're all there.
They're all there, and now you remember.
Well, interesting. They have a secret fraternity outside of their fraternity with Horus.
Yeah, and Loken doesn't like it because, well, I guess you don't have any secrets that you're keeping here that are bad. But what he specifically says is, if you get good at keeping secrets, who knows what kind of secrets you might keep.
He's such a little boy.
He's such a little goody boy. I do love him though.
He truly is like, he has no interest in women in the funniest way possible.
Yep.
Like sees a nude woman, doesn't comment about it.
I think that what the author specifically says is, he's pretty sure she would be attractive if he was capable of recognizing attraction or something like that.
Something like that.
And if it's not phrased that way, in one of the books very shortly from now, that will be how an Astartes looks at a woman. Is if he was capable of feeling attraction, he would know she's somebody people feel attraction for.
But don't worry, he can go on about how beautiful Horus is, how beautiful Lucius is fighting,
how beautiful Sanguinius is. Because when you see Sanguinius, it's made clear that all of the Primarchs are perfect, but Sanguinius is perfectly beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
Sanguinius is perfect
He's the angel.
aesthetically.
And he also literally has angel wings.
He literally has angel wings. He's just fucking Michael, right? Like,
Yeah.
he is, like,
Yeah. He's perfect.
God, the archangel fucking bullshit. It's amazing how Catholic this is.
It's super Catholic. Yeah. If you grew up Catholic, if you grew up Lutheran, which is just diet Catholic.
Diet Catholic, like
Yeah.
I did.
Usually
The diet versions are better than the full versions.
you have been steeped in enough ritual and weird, bizarre Roman ceremony to at least get some taste of nostalgia when going through this content. I think half of Warhammer fans are just traumatized Catholic kids.
They're working through it.
Working through it, yeah. So we eventually exit this phase of, okay, well, yeah, there's demons, yeah, but the Emperor told me it's just warp stuff.
Yeah, Horus
We
explaining.
haven't talked about the warp yet.
Yeah.
What is the warp? What do you know the warp is?
So the warp is how you go from place to place through the galaxy.
Yep.
It's
how you travel faster than light.
Right, how you travel faster than light, but you are calling upon like some weird immaterium of evil devil energy. Basically, you're basically using the devil to traverse your way through the galaxy. It seems like.
So let me describe it from the perspective of the secular Imperium, right, where there are no gods or demons.
Right. To them,
what are they doing? They are entering a separate dimension.
Right. They're entering a separate space to bridge gaps between places.
It's just extra dimensional travel. That's
Yes.
all it is. You enter the warp, which allows you to travel a certain distance in this other dimension, and then you'll get spit out kind of wormhole style into a different place in the real world.
And hopefully where you're going.
Hopefully where you're going. Hopefully when you're going. Because a lot of times, actually, and especially in later books, characters will get spit out decades later. Or years later, or months later.
Rip.
And just time lost.
I hope that doesn't happen in fucking Rogue Trader.
Who knows? So that's we've learned that these demons are just warp aliens. That's what the Space Marines are being told as propaganda to mull them over. Is they're just warp Xenos.
Right.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's kind of like an infection that got into Jubal. It's like, it's like a mutation of the genes, and you kill mutants, but what can you do? Sometimes it happens. It's called chaos. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. It does have a name. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
And then
we just colloquially call it chaos. No, it's okay. Like Horus petting Logan's hair. It's okay, my pretty boy.
And then we get part 2. Where we're on a totally different planet.
Spiderland.
Yeah, Spiderland, literally called Spiderland. That's so unsubtle. I love it. But
Spiderland
even
rules.
better than Spiderland, what do they call it?
Murder.
Murder, because this planet is murder.
Yeah. So a whole bunch of Space Marines, the Blood Angels, I believe.
So the Blood Angels were the first to arrive.
Right.
They find beacons that they can't translate orbiting this planet. They land.
Weird music stuff.
Yeah, it sounds... Well, Horus is the first one to recognize it
Horus
as
is
music.
but
to everybody else, it just is static.
Yeah.
And so some random Blood Angels show up, not the main contingent of their legion, just some random an expedition fleet.
Yeah.
They show up, they land. Oh, it's some pretty good fighting here. Just these big weird bugs.
Mega arachnids.
Yeah, and then the next update from the surface is, it's actually really tough fighting. This is a pretty good battle. And the third one, we're all dying. Send all the reinforcements, please.
Please help.
And then the final one, this planet is murder.
And so everyone calls it murder.
So Blood Angels are all dead. Emperor's Children, another legion show up. The haughty, hoity-toity.
The prep boys.
Yeah, the purple boys.
Yeah.
These
ones are the prep kids.
The royal purple prep kids. That's
If the Lunar Wolves are kind of like the jock fraternity, these are the prep fraternity.
Popular jocks, these are the popular preps.
Yep.
So the Lunar Wolves are, the football bros. These are like the lacrosse bros.
Well, it's also another to do the Sopranos Mafia analogy. The Emperor's Children is New York.
Yes.
While the Lunar Wolves is New Jersey.
Absolutely. But I also like the football house. lacrosse house.
Yep.
These are the lacrosse guys.
this is the lacrosse
Yeah.
heads. Yeah, for sure.
They
No,
are
that's also a good comparison.
also super duper athletes, but boy, are they going to be hoity-toity about
Boy,
it.
do they not want to mess up their hair.
Yes.
Or their nice purple armor.
Eidolon is the Lord Commander of these troops.
You mean Eidolon.
It's definitely Eidolon. Everyone who's ever read a Warhammer book is going to pronounce it Eidolon but you. I know. It's
a Greek word?
It's
I'm
Eidolon.
just saying. It's a Greek word.
And
it's Eidolon.
we are English speakers.
Yeah, but maybe
from England writing this.
But maybe
it's Eidolon.
Maybe we could say it right. We could start a trend.
So you can say Eidolon and sound like a doofus. It's Eidolon.
Look, so Lord Eidolon.
Yeah.
Fucking
wow. It sounds so wrong.
So kind of whips as a character.
Yeah. Eidolon, Idol Whip.
Idol Whip.
His hair is kind of like a little Dole Whip flip too. If you see pictures of him, he's got my haircut, but it's white.
Kind of like okay.
The side cut.
Yeah, nice side cut, a little longer.
So Eidolon shows up on this planet to save the Blood Angels.
Well, to get glory.
Yeah, to get glory, to save the Blood Angels, to get glory.
Right.
Shows up, drops his whole force on this planet where they've been told that it's hard to lift back off again.
Right.
Once
There's
you
like
land.
this weird storm.
Shield storms. Can't get through them. We'll drop all our forces, and they all get separated.
Yep.
And we meet some of these characters now from their perspective. So we're not with Luna Wolves anymore.
And
Saul Tarvitz.
Yep. Saul
and
Tarvitz. Lucius.
Yes. Lucius, who is
Swordmaster.
Yeah, you don't know Lucius at all, do you?
No, he's the sword guy. He's
just a sword guy. You're right.
Yeah,
he's just a sword guy.
He's a dude who loves swords.
He sure loves swords.
Everyone tries to be like a master of none, a jack of all trades, and he's out here like, no, it's swords.
It's swords, dude.
Swords.
Yeah.
What? And so he's like dueling these spiders with these blade arms. with his swords.
They're described as arachnids, but and you read the physical description, they're praying mantises.
Yep.
They're like these praying mantises with biotechnology that's like metal threaded
synthetic
armor.
metal.
Yeah, synthetic like metal that grows on their bodies as weapons and armor. They don't seem to have any sentience. They don't talk. They don't communicate in any way that we can recognize.
Right.
But it's just a planet full of bugs. They're trying to kill bugs. They're all dying.
Yep.
And now Horus shows up.
Horus shows up to be like, wow.
Yep.
What a pure and uncomplicated war we get to fight here. There's nothing going on here that is like definitely in the background. There's nothing that is like we need to think about this. We can just go down here and start killing bugs.
And I gotta say, this is actually my favorite part of the book. It's
good.
Murder is the best part of this book because it is a perfect snapshot of everything wrong with the Great Crusade, everything wrong with the Astartes, everything wrong with the Emperor's plan. These guys show up and they think, boy, I sure am glad to just wipe out a whole species of it. I
love to not think. Brain off, head empty.
Yeah, that's how they all describe it. It's how even the Emperor's children who are dying on the surface
Even
with no way off are like, this is kind of fun.
Yeah.
I love just brain off murdering things and life or death every second of the day.
I mean, Lucius takes one of their arms as a blade, and people are like, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing, man?
It's more fun this way.
That's Xenos. And he's like, what isn't the Emperor's goal to teach us things? And
I'm just learning new ways to sword fight, brother. I'm perfecting myself. And so we get this world where they are committing themselves to this war. And eventually Horus, Saul pulls off this cool move where he punches a hole through the shield wall unintentionally.
Yeah, because the Blood Angels are spiked on these
corpses are spiked on these trees, and he wants
the trees that cause interference and causes the shield storms.
And this is, again, unsubtle but perfect for the series. Through the sheer pursuit of honor, of doing what's honorable and valorous for the sake of itself, he finds the solution.
Yes.
You clear the shield storms by destroying these things that appear to just be trophy racks.
Right. But you can't stand your brothers being held as trophies.
Yes.
Those beautiful bodies should not be
beautiful
pierced
bodies
like that.
should not be up on those trees. We need to bring them down. So
Right.
we blow up the tree and explode
the
everything,
trees.
the corpses included.
Yep.
And then Horus comes down, brings his whole force down. Torgadon, who is kind of like the sarcastic sons of Horus.
He's not funny at
guy.
all. He makes a whole bunch of jokes throughout the books. None of them are funny. They're all annoying. He's constantly winking.
He exclusively his form of a joke is say the opposite of what you mean, and then when the person you're talking to is confused, say, I'm just kidding. That's Torgadon's jokes. Is like, Garviel's like, will I ever get the hang of these Mournival meetings? No, you won't. Really? Yes, you will.
Haha.
That's a Torgadon joke. Like,
stupid.
Yeah.
Fucking hate this guy.
So he shows up. He tells Eidolon, "You're stupid. You shouldn't have done this war this way." And then Eidolon tries to take credit for blowing up the tree, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, and then like one of Lucius's like and Saul's like bros is like, no, it was actually
it was my guy Saul Tarvitz.
It was
and
Tarvitz.
So now we've got this bond. Some of the Luna Wolves are tightly bonded with Saul Tarvitz,
and like get in ways with the Emperor children, so they're unionizing in a way. They're getting collective action happening.
We're finding some bonds of brotherhood between these two factions.
Those can never bonds of brotherhood can never be used against you, which is the best thing about bonds of brotherhood.
Which is why it's so great when Sanguinius shows up and he and Horus get to fight side by side on this planet.
Back to back, ass to ass.
What's great is they say this goes on for 6 months.
Yep.
For six months. These dudes are on this planet. They're not using their planet killing weapons, which they have. Nope. They're not using their gas bombs, which they have.
Nope.
They are just throwing all of their infantry and some tanks and some titans onto this planet.
Cutting their teeth on the arachnids.
To kill these bugs because it's good practice and because the bugs deserve to die. It feels good. And as we learn, Horus is very intentionally ignoring all of his responsibilities as War Master. It's too hard. It's too much to deal with. He just wants to kill bugs with his best brother.
Horus is a procrastinator.
Yes.
He constantly gets emails, leaves them on unread.
Yep.
He is constantly like gets the little flag pop up and says, "Remind me later. Remind me in a week."
Yep. Snooze. He's snoozing his War Master responsibilities. He's smashing bugs with his brother, and then they're just about done smashing bugs when they learn, "Oops, we didn't need to do that.
No.
We didn't need to spend 6 months killing ourselves and these bugs because why?"
So the bugs are on prison.
It's a reservation.
Yeah, it's it's a reservation.
There are no resources on this planet. There was nothing for us to extract.
Right.
There was nothing for us to gain by having this
There's no
planet.
way they can leave space.
They had no space travel. They had no ships. They had no cities.
Nope.
These bugs are just bugs on a planet, and
prison world.
They were literally trapped. The storms were designed to keep them trapped there.
Yep.
This was a different human civilization.
The Interrex.
The Interrex found these bugs, fought these bugs, beat the bugs, and then said, "You know what? We don't have the right to just wipe out a whole species. They're just being bugs. We tried to communicate with them.
We couldn't assimilate them.
We couldn't assimilate them. We couldn't find a way to talk to them. So we just gave them a planet. We let them have that planet. We put the shield walls around it, the shield storms around it, so they can't get out. We can't get in.
Space liberals showed up.
Yeah, exactly. Interactive space liberals, and which is unfortunately, in a way, it is absolutely better than space fascists. But
aren't they just as bad in a way?
So we meet the Interrex. Horus meets a new society, at least, it seems in some ways, at least as technologically advanced as the Imperium. Yep. They have bigger ships, more impressive ships, which is really a big
really
deal.
Fancier. Not like they're more sleek design than the like kind of crunchy, square brutalist design of the Imperium.
Warhammer sci-fi is like everything is hard edges and gothic architecture.
Right.
And let's put a flying buttress on that shoulder armor.
Yeah.
And like and the Interrex is like classic sleek sci-fi,
it's
like
Star Trek.
Chrome sci-fi. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like Star Trek showed up. The Imperium met the Federation in a way.
But they also have laser bows and or like
no, just bows that shoot arrows that pierce through the armor. They're not lasers.
It's not a laser. I think it's more like a Gauss bow.
Yeah.
Because it uses some kind of technology to fire arrows so fast that they can pierce ceramite armor.
Sure.
Yeah, so they also have these centaur robot suits that they ride around in.
But they ride in by sitting at where the neck is?
Yeah, they sit at where the neck of the horse would be. If you were riding a horse, like just take the whole neck and head of the horse off. Right. And then specifically they say their legs are like curled up. Yeah. And so they're like curled up into these weird little hunched positions in the front of the horse's body.
It's like a mermaid tail.
Yeah, it's like if the horses
imagine a centaur,
Right.
but the horse half is robot parts.
Right.
That's what the Interrex warriors, that's what they look like. And they're centaurs because Horus identifies with Sagittarius, which is another great element that astrology finds its way into this series.
Horus being an astrology girly. I'm
yes, it's so good.
Well, and now I'm remembering a Rogue Trader thinking about the Emperor's Tarot cards.
Yep.
And I'm like, Horus needs those.
Emperor's Tarot is a big deal. It's going to show up in the series
Stupid.
too. They are psycho. The Emperor's Tarot is actually an interesting concept. They are each
Okay, it's the funniest. Yeah, you know what's an interesting concept? The God Emperor man's tarot deck.
each card in the deck is a crystal wafer, a psychically
it is.
attuned crystal wafer that does not have an image on it until you draw it. And then it draws both from the divine inspiration of the emperor,
Right.
from his divine being, and also interpreting what's going on in your own psychic consciousness. It produces a work of art that then you can interpret. That's the
Fucking AI generated tarot cards.
yeah. Anyway, we're not there yet, but we will be reading
Amazing.
Emperor's Tarot cards in a couple books from now. So yeah.
Oh, I was hoping you were saying that's the name of like book 26
No,
of the
Emperor's
Horus
Tarot.
The Emperor's Tarot.
Yeah.
The cards are drawn.
Yeah. It's just a Yu-Gi-Oh battle. It's
Oh
just
my god.
no.
Fucking what's the dual does the Warhammer universe have a card game?
It has multiple card games. The Horus Heresy
True.
was a trading card game before it was a book series.
No, I meant like I mean like
Okay.
is there an in-universe card game
Oh.
that people play?
Yes, there are card games in this universe.
I mean, I know we had like the fake card games they were doing in this book.
Yeah,
then they were playing poker, and everyone's like, "What's this weird game?"
So if you're asking, is there like a Pazak
Yes.
of Warhammer?
Is there a Fazaka Warhammer?
I don't think there's a Pazak of Warhammer
Dang.
that I know of, but there are lots of games. People play poker in Warhammer. You know, like
it's
so.
really the scene where Mercedes.
Mercedes Keeler and then Ignace Karshkasi.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the
those are the two
remembrancers
remembrancers
at all.
Yeah, Mercedes is a photographer.
Yep.
And Karkasi is a poet.
Yep.
And those are our two major remembrances.
Those are our two. So the Empire, I love how they are a patron of the arts. You know, if it's kind of wild to think about just inherently as a concept that the Imperium of Man has a more progressive art scene than the United States.
Well, and that's one of the cool things. One of the interesting things to me about Warhammer is that like the Emperor, he is a mad fascist despot tyrant. But he really is trying. Like he absolutely is trying to bring an enlightened Renaissance age to the entire galaxy. This is just his idiot way of doing it.
Right.
We'll conquer them and then we'll drop a bunch of art on them.
He's like a Californian liberal.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
If we just airdrop our sitcoms into North Korea, they will want to revolt against their leader because they're going to be watching How I Met Your Mother and going, damn, if we were a free nation, we can make How I Met Your Mother.
That's it. That's all it takes.
That's it. We don't have television of this quality like How I Met Your Mother.
We just need to bomb them with culture.
We just need to bomb them with our culture.
Yep.
They haven't seen the newest MCU. How do they know what good culture is?
And the Primarchs really are just 20 superheroes. Like
oh my God.
they are just superheroes who have sons. I never explained to you how Space Marines are made.
Oh yeah,
so
we keep getting off
the
track.
Emperor made made the Primarchs. They're
Right.
superheroes.
Right.
They're very tall and they're very big.
They're the Avengers. Got it.
And then using the genetic leftovers from each of those Primarchs, he then forged the Space Marine legions. So that each legion they're like a watered down version of their Primarch.
So that's why we have people who look like Horus, and he's always reticent to call him sons of Horus.
They were born of two parents who had nothing to do with Horus.
Wait, now,
but their child, that kid who becomes a Space Marine, it's like at a young age, at pre-puberty, you're taken. And then
Jedi.
You're tested to see if you're physically capable of
Jedi
of becoming a Jedi, an Adeptus Astartes.
Yeah,
you're mentally tested too to see if you are capable of becoming a psychopath.
Right.
And
the cop test.
Yeah, because you are not allowed to have fear as a Space Marine. Like it is taken out of you, the ability to feel fear.
And sex.
So you need to have the right brain for that. And then once they figure out that you're the right physical and brain type person for Space Marine gene seed,
when you're neurodivergent enough,
you then receive a series of like 20 surgeries, each of which implants a new organ in your body, and then those organs force you to mutate and develop into a Space Marine.
Jesus
so that's why it has to be
Christ.
pre-puberty. That's why you have to have all these requirements. It's like 1 in 1,000 people can physically become a Space Marine.
The gender-affirming care for the Imperium man is so amazing.
So that's how you become a Space Marine, is as you take a child, you brainwash them and beat them, and then you fill them full of mutant organs until they turn into a big ugly
Wait,
freak.
but mutants are bad.
Not these mutants.
Oh, they're holy mutants.
And not navigators either. Those are mutants too, but those are good mutants.
Those are noble mutants.
Yeah, those are mutants we need.
Right.
So are psychers. Psychers, we can turn them into astromancers.
But not
and we need
unsanctioned
them.
psychers.
Yeah, only sanctioned psychers. Yep.
Fucking. Is this an empire of hypocrisy, or is
might
that all
be.
empires?
It might be. And so we kill the bugs. We meet the Interrex. We
learned that it is music, and there's the way of communicating.
Oh yeah, that's right. How this enlightened society communicates.
Yeah, they have these little nerds who follow them around and sing arias to match their
and play instruments.
Yeah, and they play instruments to match what the speaker is saying.
To help facilitate communication, everyone speaks with a musical accompaniment.
Yep. Ridiculous.
That's basically, it's kind of silly.
It's amazing.
That's
it's good.
the Interrex.
It's stupid and good.
And Horus has to decide: do I try to deal with these people, or do we just fucking fight them? Because they're different than us. They have a client alien race that they kind of deal.
Kinbash.
Yeah, they have an alien species that they deal with on friendly terms, even though they're really basically slaves.
No, they're slaves. Well, again,
but
client race. Again, this is why they're space liberals, right?
But they like it.
But we give them housing.
Yeah, so
we give them food.
And sometimes we let them use weapons in special circumstances.
We have a museum dedicated to the cool shit we looted from them. Why aren't they appreciative of this?
Yeah. So because there are aliens involved in this culture, that reason alone is enough for most of the Space Marines under Horus's command to be like, no, we need to fucking murder these guys.
Yeah.
Kill them all. And
Horus has anxiety, though.
Yeah, he's like, but what if that's wrong?
I already made 2 mistakes, and I'm supposed to be perfect.
Yeah. What if this is a challenge, and I'm supposed to make friends with them?
When Daddy sat me on his lap and told me I'm the goodest boy and said I'm going to lead the war now, I was so happy. But what if I fuck it up?
Yeah. So he's trying to make friends with them. And they land on a capital world of the Interrex, not the capital world,
but one of their big diplomatic worlds. It seems like
towards the border of their empire,
right?
And we meet some. There are also some word bearers now amongst us. Another faction. We meet Erebus.
Oh yes, Erebus.
Erebus shows up. He's a word bearer. He also showed up towards the end of the murder campaign, and so you got another faction with us.
What do word bearers exactly? Are they just book writers?
So the bearers of the word are.
Oh no, they're the ones that pass down the edicts, right?
No, you'll see.
Okay.
We'll meet the word bearers later.
Oh no, we met an Adeptus Administratum.
You've met word bearers in Rogue Trader. I'll say that.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's so many people I met in Rogue Trader that I'm still trying to keep track. It's hard keeping track of the 40K stuff from the 30K stuff right now because it's such intentionally a different vibe.
It'll make more sense soon. But so
one is
post-religious, and we land on this planet, and then of course, perfect timing. Loken almost hears the truth of what chaos is.
Yep.
And what is he meets this other security guard. Well, they're both working guard duty during negotiations.
They're both admiring their physique.
Yep, during negotiations.
It truly is like how much Loken talks about the physiques of his enemies, especially when it's other humans.
It's all he can think about, though. It's all he's allowed to think about. So it's all he's gonna think about.
I like the scene where he steps into the ring with Lucius, who just fought an intense battle with this really.
That is a good moment, though.
No, it's great. No, it's great.
Like a 15-minute long duel of swords between Erebus and Lucius, and then Loken tells him 3 times, I'll duel you, but if we duel, it's not just gonna be about swords. And Lucius is like, yeah, come on, get in the ring. And Loken gets in the ring. He's like, if we fight, it's not going to just be about swords. And Lucy's like, yeah, whatever, man. He's like, all right, man, but it's not going to be about the sword.
Yeah.
and then they fight, and then half a second into the fight, Garfield punches him in the face and knocks him flat. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Just does a dodge and punches him in the face and is like, I win.
I win. Yep.
The secret is knowing your opponent.
Yes.
Sun Tzu.
It's perfect.
The Art of War.
So we get on this planet. This guard tells Loken, listen, man, we're kind of wary of you guys because, like,
chaos.
What if you're chaos, right?
Right.
And Loken's like,
or K.
Yeah, Loken's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, chaos, dude. You know chaos, right?
Chaos.
Yeah, we all deal
the
with
arch enemy.
We all deal with the warp to travel. We all know what chaos is.
Right. We know about the insecurities of man made manifest.
And Garfield's like, bro, I have literally no idea what you're talking about. And he's like, oh my god, I need to go tell my boss right now. We thought for sure you guys were hiding chaos. Turns out you were just totally innocent the whole time. No way. Wait, what's that on my radio?
Liar.
Garfield, I need to kill you right now. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait, Garfield, hang on.
Yeah.
I'm saying that you actually lied to me this entire time, and you must die.
Seduction is specifically what the guard says is the sin Garfield used against chaos. Seduction. I should have known. You seduced me, Garfield.
Damn, I've fallen for your homosexual tricks. I've fallen
for how hot you are, and I almost thought you were innocent. And Garfield's like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
And they fight.
Fight ensues.
Garfield saves his life.
Garfield saves his life, and then
because
subsequently murders several other guards because he has no choice.
Right, but he thinks he's like, I could give him the mercy stroke, and then he just does it, and then he tells two guards, if you want to save him, you better tend to him now instead of fighting me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, gay.
And good. Gay and good. He's a good gay.
He's a good gay. Not a bad gay like Horus.
And Horus... Finally, he's like, no, he shouldn't fight them.
Yeah, no, Horus
he's in his diplomat robes, and they're all
crying through the street as they're like, as the other guys are like going through like a cover shooter experience.
People are actively trying to murder him, shooting arrows at him left and right, and he's like, no, we can't let this happen. And then,
why, God? Why? And by God, I mean Dad. Why, Dad? Why have you forsaken? I think he literally does say, Father, why have you forsaken me?
And then he sees his soldiers die, and he's like, all right, they chose war. Fuck this.
Yeah, fuck them. War mode.
And instantly switches over to war mode. We're going to fucking murder these Interax pukes.
Yeah.
And that's more or less where the book ends.
Well, kind of, because they have to decide, do we continue this very costly war, or do we move on to the next thing?
Yeah.
And the book has a very dramatic cliffhanger that I didn't really know was a cliffhanger until this video I watched that you had me watch, which... This is one of those things. It's like not important because I don't know what happens there, but like the fact, gosh, this is the most mishapped podcast,
the most mishappening podcast
ever recorded,
ever done had.
But
we're making it.
We're making it. Take 3. We're back. Davin. We're talking about
the
Davin.
Moon of Davin.
I don't know why it's important. But hey,
it is important.
It's important.
And what's funny about what's important about it to me is that for decades it was one of the only things known about the Horus Heresy.
Yeah,
was that like a really important thing happens to Horus on Davin.
Yeah, and
I will say this: in the old lore, what you saw in that video you were referencing. That's not what happens. Right. So like something else happens. Something similar-ish. Something else happens.
But the fact that Davin could be name dropped as that's the end of the book.
Yes.
It ends on them.
Oh, where are we going? We're going to Davin.
Yeah. And it's like, sure. For me, who doesn't know, is like, sure, all right. I guess we're just kind of ending in the middle of it. It seems like another chapter could have happened.
I'm excited to see how many events we'll have like that, where we just end a chapter or end a book on a moment that means nothing to you.
Yeah, it just means that. The book plays a lot with dramatic irony.
Yes, it does. We know
that
things
I don't understand.
Yes, we know things. We're supposed to know things that the characters do not know. That's dramatic irony, and it just doesn't work.
For me, it's just ambiguity.
Yeah, for you, it's just ambiguity. Yeah, and it's going to be really silly.
It's kind of silly because I just gotta try to. I might think some things are important that aren't at all.
Yeah. That's what I think I'm most excited for, is for any threads you might pick up that go nowhere. Like, because every other Warhammer reader reading these books knows where every thread is, for the most part.
Yeah.
We know where these threads are going.
Yep.
Yeah.
We know what this leads to.
Yeah.
I don't, but everyone else does.
Mm-hmm. Final points about this book.
Yeah. Last things we want to talk about. So there is a scene where Lucius and Tarvitz kind of like, Tarvitz is like, I told you shouldn't have been picking up that Xenoblade.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And Lucius is like, you're right. But I accept my mistake, and I'm sorry for it, and I'm going to learn from this. And I think, you should be less stubborn and stuff like this. But Lucius then asks, are we still best friends?
Are we still friends?
Are we still friends?
Are we still friends because you yelled at me and I don't know if we're still friends, but I want to be your friend because sometimes you're good at things I'm not good at and I learn from you. And I want to learn from you, Tarvitz. I'm sorry. That's Lucius.
Yeah, that's Lucius. No, that truly is the tone. Anytime these Space Marines have an interpersonal conflict, it is the most childish form of conflict.
What's a 14-year-old going to say?
Yeah.
That's probably what the Space Marines
It's kind of
say.
amazing. I don't know how intentional it is.
So for me, I feel like it's intentional because the more we're going to see, and I could be wrong, but the more we see Remembrancers alongside Astartes, the more we see Remembrancers are humans, and Astartes stopped being humans when they were 12.
Yep.
And they never got to continue being humans. They were just, oh, you're 12? You're a war machine now.
Yeah, they're perpetually 12
How about
now.
we just keep you a war machine for hundreds? Because Gargiel Loken is like over 100 years old.
We gotta say they are functionally
remember.
immortal.
Functionally immortal. Most of these characters are in the hundreds of years old at this, because the Great Crusade, the big galaxy-spanning war that is alluded to in the intro I read at the beginning of this sequence, or this episode, that war.
It's been like, what, a couple hundred years?
It's been a couple hundred years. Yeah. I think at this point, as of the first book, the Emperor has been the Emperor for like 200 years.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of time for people to be around fighting and not growing up.
Yeah,
and it's a lot of time for people to not grow up.
There's a scene even talking about one of the older Space Marines who's been around for
the Half-Herd.
Yes,
I love him.
Half-Herd.
Yes. What is his name? Oh my gosh. He is the grumbling old man of the Legion. He was
long in the tooth.
Yes, he's from the Unification Wars, as I remember.
Right.
Like he is a Terran born on Earth. The Half-Herd, 40K. Eacton Cruz. As soon as I typed it in, I knew. I didn't have to look at it. Eacton Cruz.
Yeah.
Spelled Iacton. Cruz spelled Q.
Yep.
Ruze.
Yep.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
There's a lot of these types of names, like Ezekiel
Abaddon.
Yeah.
Ezekyle. Ezekiel.
Cursed.
Yeah.
Or Scorpio, like Scorpius, like or what's the so I really like the scene where the Emperor has changed all the constellation names.
There's those I don't remember, but Scorpio is Scorpius or something like that. Leo is like Leonus or something like that.
Stupid.
Just add at least one more syllable, and then it's sci-fi enough for Warhammer.
Make it sound like fake Roman.
Yes. Yeah. Pseudo Latin sci-fi.
Yeah, pseudo Latin.
Yeah.
There's a we haven't really talked much about the Remember answers.
Yeah, there's a photographer. She takes some good pictures.
Yeah.
There's a poet. He gets drunk and writes poetry about how maybe Empire sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe colonialism's not good.
Not even that. You know this is all gonna fall, right? Because everything ends.
Well, we later learn that he is writing anti-colonial poetry because Garviel says he doesn't really get it. But yeah.
Yep.
But yes, you're right. He gets beat up almost to death by, importantly, in a bar of conquered people. He gets beaten up by soldiers from the people he came with.
Yep.
His own guards essentially beat up this poet, not the locals they just conquered, because he's saying this isn't going to last. Right. No empire lasts.
It's impossible.
We're human beings. We're imperfect. This isn't going to work.
The universe will end.
Yes.
Even if this lasts until then, it won't last.
Death is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's too much. That's too much.
That's too much. You can't say that, man.
Yeah.
That's inappropriate.
So, and Garviel Loken does later on save him because of this altercation, he's maybe going to get booted all the way back to Terra from this
disgrace.
In disgrace, no longer allowed to write poetry about the Great Crusade. But his friend steps in for him, talks to Loken, and Loken steps in and says, okay, yep, as long as all of your poetry goes through me from now on, then you are allowed to continue writing poetry for this crusade.
Loken has his own remembrancer, Mercedes.
Yep. Mercedes Olaton.
Yep, she's nice.
Yep.
She's just... So the women in this book are just the most...
They're moms.
They're moms. You're right.
Yeah.
They're just mom types.
Yeah.
That's so true.
Yeah. Every woman in Warhammer is a mom.
Yeah. Even the woman who's like traumatized by seeing the fucked up Chaos Jubal. Though I like her turn is, now I'm going to believe in the Emperor being a god.
Oh, yeah, which is kind of pretty realistic. People absolutely, the second their worldview is shocked, they go right to religion.
Well, as soon as they're like, I saw an Eldritch Horror, the Emperor protects us from that. I'm going to worship this fucking dude. I don't want to deal with this shit. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
This is bad. I saw a demon.
So we get our first demon. We get our first traces of Emperor worship, which is strictly outlawed by the Emperor. We get our first traces of who would win between my legion and your legion. We also see bonds forming between legions.
Yep, bonds between legions.
And we see very, very obvious, big, gigantic cracks and fissures forming everywhere in this Imperium.
Mm-hmm. I love the Moonlight Mournival scene where they have to walk through the water in order to initiate Loken, and they basically do a baptism to Loken. It's very cute. And they all drink. Space Marines love to drink and slap each other's backs and touch each other's shoulders and
Importantly, though, they cannot become intoxicated. It is impossible for a Space Marine to be intoxicated.
Why do they drink then?
Because...
Interesting.
Because that's what you do. That's what you do at socialists. That's part of the ritual.
Okay, so...
It's part of the ritual.
These are the most... So again, they just made an army of the most neurodivergent boys.
Yeah, kind of.
And said, kill for us.
Yeah.
Kind of like the U.S. Army in a way.
Yeah, drop enough trauma on any 12-year-old and they'll be autistic.
Put enough antisocial behaviors into them and you'll create something. That's for sure.
Yeah. Any other final thoughts?
Other final thoughts? I'm so glad we're doing this.
I'm so glad we're doing this. This has been a fun conversation.
This has been, with all the mishaps and starts and stops, I love thinking about Warhammer now. I think it's just so funny.
It is funny, and honestly, I think we've touched on some pretty solid topics. Like, I think there are some really, really good things in these books to find, and I think
it's fun.
More than anything, it's simple, it's fun, it's easy pulp to dive into, but also the thing that always excites me about Warhammer is just how much potential there is. Like, there is room for this to be great. There really is room for these stories to be great, for something important to be said.
Yeah.
It very rarely happens, but we will find those moments, and I'm excited to sift through the sweet, sticky, pulpy fun with you until we get there.
Going through some of my other notes. Mm-hmm. So we talked about Troga. What's this? Troga. What's the one of the Mournivals? The T.
Torgadon.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Torgadon.
I can't get these names straight. I'm gonna be the worst at these names. So Torgadon, like the book kind of knows his jokes are bad.
Yeah.
Doesn't know Horus's jokes are bad. They actually there's a lot of Horus is just the most charismatic guy.
They say he's the most charismatic guy, and I guess in the room he is.
He is.
But also I guess this was one of the notes I missed that I was going to touch on. Horus is charismatic because he has 4 trained gaslighters in the room at all times.
That's so true.
Like, literally, he has 4 boys in the room who are going to do all of the nasty work for him in the conversation so he can exclusively be nice.
Now, I do think this book sees it as charming, though, in a way.
Sure.
Because there's also the one time where he doesn't use them like that. And the way Horus talks to him, Loken's like, and now they'll die for him. Like, goddamn, the way he talks to them, like as if they're just men.
Oh yeah,
as if they're just like him. He's using like the old.
He's speaking to some mortal commanders of the expedition that's gone horribly wrong on murder,
and he's won them over.
Yeah,
because he's just so goddamn charming. He can talk to a guy. You could really have a beer with him.
He really is. That really is all it is, too. Is he doesn't even say anything special or kind to them. He's just acknowledging them.
Yeah.
And they're like, Superman's acknowledging me?
Yeah. It's
Superman's
really
looking at me? Done deal, baby. I'll do whatever Superman wants.
I'll do whatever Superman wants.
Yep.
Amazing. Gay for Superman. New sexuality unlocking is like
Gay for Superman. Yeah. That should have been the subtitle of this book. Is Horus Rising, Gay for Superman.
This book really does preempt superhero movies in a weird way, though, right?
Yeah, 2006. So this would have been.
This is before Iron Man's even out.
Yeah.
Before we get, I mean, like, I think what we're seeing here is there's Firefly in this.
Sure.
There's
Yeah.
there's some Buffy with the quips.
Yeah.
There's quips in this.
There's that.
There's a Whedonism to the book.
There's
sometimes.
a Whedonism to some of these books.
It's not bad. Unless it's Torgagan.
Torgadan.
My God.
Torgadan. Torgadan.
Unless it's Tor.
Yeah.
Tor, my boy. Torby. Little Horse, again, cute nickname. It's just the mafia energy on these people is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I think I hit basically everything I wanted to hit.
Yeah. Do you have any lingering questions?
Ooh, what's my questions going into the next book? I think this is let's I want to
False Gods by Graham McNeil.
I'm very curious because, Warhammer 40K, hyper religious Imperium.
Mm-hmm.
There's, tech priests and shit.
Mechanicum's coming up. There is a book that's completely revolving around the Mechanicus, and that's book 5, I think, book 5 or 6. Yeah.
So my questions is, when do we start seeing the introduction of just like religion into the state of empire?
Oh, when do we
see? But more like like I want to see that pathway. But that's kind of my question is like, what is that pathway that gets led? So how the seeds of heresy are sown?
Yeah.
I want to see what sprouts. So
we will definitely see the next book kind of is going to tip us into the main story. So it's generally considered the first 3 books are different authors, but it reads like one book.
Okay.
It's going to feel like one story.
Yeah.
With just different voices telling it.
That's the other question I had. What is it going to be like when someone besides Dan is working on it? The
full presence of chaos becomes very loud in this story very shortly.
When does chaos not just become chaos, but become the arch enemy?
Almost right away.
Yeah.
Like we are going to be there. This first book kind of tiptoes around how magical things are going to be.
Right.
There's no tiptoeing very shortly after this.
Yeah.
It's just like,
so this is the most straight
the warp
edge.
is magic, and there's magic everywhere, baby. Yeah.
My other question is, will I see the fantasy Warhammer stuff? I don't know how it correlates with this stuff.
Not at all. No.
Oh, they're not connected whatsoever.
Hard, no. Yeah, that is...
For some reason, I always thought they were connected in a weird way.
Because in most people's headcanon, they are.
Mm-hmm.
So there are 2 Primarchs who are not written.
Right.
We don't know who they are. They're unnamed. Their legions are unnamed. And
Perfect.
It will probably forever be that way. That's just part of the story.
Yeah.
They
OCs.
They will be referenced in the books we're about to read.
Oh, we got reference to the Khan.
Yeah,
we got reference to the lion.
Yep, and Lehman Russ, the wolf.
Right, but more in the sense we didn't get a name to some of these. We got some that are just titles.
Yep,
for Primarchs.
You'll meet them all pretty shortly. Yeah, I think. What was I saying? I don't even know.
Something about the enemy and chaos.
Oh yeah, the arch enemy chaos. It all shows up pretty shortly here.
Yeah, and it becomes magical fast.
The lines in the sand are drawn pretty hard, pretty shortly as well. Like we will know who's a traitor and who's going to stay loyal to the Emperor pretty quickly. If you haven't already known, which everybody else reading these books already knew. You are the only one, Faden.
The Emperor's home is Anatoly?
Sure.
That's what they said in the book.
So, so the question was, how long until we start to see those kinds of things, right?
Yeah.
How long until we see who the Emperor is, what his background is?
Oh, the other thing I know about the Emperor is that he is Jesus Christ.
That's in some of the lore.
No, it's just true.
Okay,
He's Jesus.
He is historical figures,
but
even then there's so anything related to the Emperor, anything related to the Emperor and his past especially, ambiguous.
Yeah.
You will get stories. It's like, oh, he did this at one point. And then there's always in some way like, but did he really? Like, so you're gonna lots of that, but you will you'll hear more about his motivations, how he became the way he is, how he made the Primarchs, how everything came to be the way it is. It is all pretty much well explained in this series.
I do know another thing about the Emperor.
Yeah,
he can dunk from the 3-point line.
Sure. Probably. He's pretty tall, so
he
yeah.
also got a hole-in-one on every golf course. For every hole.
Golf course.
Every golf course in known existence and in every hole.
Yes.
Yeah. Hole-in-one record.
He's had sex with your mom.
He banging my mom.
Yeah. Anything else, or have we done it?
I think we've done it. I think we've waded through.
Yeah.
We went through some warp, turbulence.
The grim and the dark. We tasted it all.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't as grim dark as I thought it was going to be.
No. This is Dana Abna is applesauce.
Yeah, this is the applesauce.
This is very plain, simple.
Now, am I getting cinnamon applesauce next, or am I going to get like gruel next? Like I'm expecting applesauce and I'm getting gruel.
I can't wait to talk about Graham McNeil. We will see you next time.
What are we reading next time?
We are reading False Gods by Graham McNeil, Book 2 in the Horus Heresy.
Oh, hell yeah.
It is, I believe, much shorter than this one. So
interesting.
I think it's like half the length.
Huh.
So.
Yeah, even though this was 400 pages, it really didn't take me that long. It's an easy read.
Easy read, guys. If you want to join us, this is episode 1. It's not that hard to read these books. I would say most of the Horus Heresy is like 6th grade reading level.
The hardest part is access. But even then, you just type in the Internet Archive.
Yeah, you can 4plebs most of this stuff.
Yeah,
like you can find digital copies of almost all these books, and you should, because find a library if you can. But at Games Workshop,
don't give money.
They don't need your money.
Or I guess if you want resale, resale.
Yeah,
just don't buy it.
You probably don't need to. Yeah, go to the library. They might have it. Yeah, I think your local library probably has at least 3 of these books.
Yeah, but which ones? Who's to say?
Which ones? Who's to say? But yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next month with False Gods.
Yeah, False Gods. I love you. Goodbye.